facing the police every single day.
You get the whole thing.
Say hi, Andy. I'm recording you.
All right, you get the whole thing. Right?
I got you.
Ocean City cops are not people.
Yes, they are. You know what's really criminal?
What's that?
Those knee-high socks.
I know, but that's what the brown shirts wore.
Yes.
Just a brief update, literally and figuratively. On May 12th, I filed the city's answer brief in response to Mr. Sheets and Mr. Massey's initial brief in the Circuit Court appeal. Mr. Massey and Mr. Sheets have 30 days from that date, more or less, to file a reply to my answer brief on behalf of the city. And then there will be a date set for, there is a date set for oral argument. I believe it's in July, where the judge will hear the arguments in court.
And the location of the oral arguments will be
I think it's going to be Zoom. So
where? Oh, on Zoom?
by Zoom, yeah. And if anyone wants to hear the oral arguments, send me an email and I'll see if that's okay with the judge, and we'll get an invite. And similarly, if you're interested in reading our the two briefs, the initial brief and our answer brief, I'll be happy to send you a copy of that as well.
Yes, I would like to receive that, please.
I would like to read it
Well,
also.
I'll just make sure you all get it then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Is Mr. Sheets represented by different counsel in federal court and state court?
He is.
Thank you.
Anything more?
And by the same token, the city's insurance carrier has retained attorneys to represent the city in the federal case.
Oh. Okay.
The only additional thing that I would add is I think it's inappropriate for name calling during the meeting. And so for anybody to call another person a liar, I understand you can believe that someone's not telling something accurately, but calling people names during the meeting seems inappropriate.
So at city council meeting, the mayor always makes a point of pointing to this sign as the rules of conduct for this chamber. And the first one is right there. So I think, I agree with you, absolutely. We might just remind folks from time to time. It doesn't happen often, but.
Does the chair have, in the event of a violation of rules of conduct, as gregarious as this was, does the chair have the right to cut off the,
The mayor has been known to.
does the chair,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think there's a fine. You could
Yeah.
just admonish the individual that that type of language would not be.
okay,
And,
I think we may want to
Since,
enforce that a little more forcefully.
Since I'm not legal advisor to this board, I'll answer that question if posed to the city council. And the city council, the chair, mayor, has the ability to ensure decorum of the proceedings, to request that the rules of conduct be followed. If someone fails to follow the rules of conduct after being requested, more than once, you do have the authority the mayor does have the authority, and by analogy, you can assume what your position would be, to ask the person to leave. And if the person is disruptive, and that's why the person is being asked to leave, we have a police officer that's here for the purpose of maintaining decorum in the proceedings. So if it should happen again, you might
Yes.
govern yourselves accordingly.
Thank you.
In that case, I'll remind everybody, turn your cell phones on.
That's
Call us to- Call us to an adjourn.
Thank you for reminding me. I keep forgetting to turn it back on.
Moving on to unfinished business. Hearing to impose penalty, failure to pay fine. Case number 22-82079, Code Compliance Officer Lavoisier Price Jr., Respondent Andrew Brian Sheets, address of violation 75 Taylor Avenue, violation of Chapter 26, Section 11.5, subparagraph Z, and violation of Chapter 9A, Section 9A-13, subparagraph C8, display of indecent sign, and violation of Chapter 9A, Section 9A-10, subparagraph H, and violation of Chapter 9A, Section 9A-8, sub E, failure to pay fine. Is the respondent present?
Yes.
And you have been sworn, Mr. Chief?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Officer Price?
For the record, Lavoisier Price Jr., Code Compliance Officer for the City of Punta Gorda, and I have been sworn. This matter was before the board on March 23rd, 2022, at which time the board heard testimony, received evidence, and entered its order, which was received by the respondent via certified return receipt mail on March 30th, 2022. The order required the respondent to pay the fine in the amount of $500 plus case costs incurred in the amount of $10.28 upon receipt of the order. I re-inspected the City of Punta Gorda records on April 13th, 2022, and found that the corrective action ordered by the board had not been taken and that the fine amount of $500 plus case costs incurred in the amount of $10.28 had not been paid. An affidavit of non-compliance and notice of hearing imposing penalty was mailed to the respondent on April 13th, 2022 via certified return receipt mail, which was received by the respondent on April 18th, 2022. I re-inspected the City of Punta Gorda's records on May 24th, 2022, and found that the fine amount of $500 plus case costs incurred in the amount of $10.28 had not been paid. The respondent has been in non-compliance for 55 days from March 31st, 22 to April 24th, 2022. I'm submitting an invoice in the amount of $18.31 for case costs incurred.
Okay.
My turn?
Your turn.
So last time that this happened, it went straight to illegally putting a lien on my house for free speech. What is the difference this time?
Correction from March 31st, 22 to May 24th, 2022. I said April.
Mr. Levine, would you please answer that question?
Well, I'm not sure what he's referring to as the last time, but there was a previous action, several cases brought against the respondent, that the respondent took over an appeal of those cases, and the respondent's attorney requested a stay of further action relating to those cases that were taken up on appeal to the circuit court. So no further action with respect to the fines has been taken with respect to those prior cases. The case before you today is a new violation, separate and apart from the violations that were previously heard by you and taken up on appeal. And so there's been no stay requested with respect to this action. Mr. Sheets has another group of attorneys that are representing him in that case. That case is was brought into federal court, but still no requested stay of the code enforcement's action in this new case was requested, and therefore we are seeking payment of the penalty and a penalty for failure to pay the fine that was instituted by this court, by this board.
Thank you.
My turn?
Here's your answer.
So again, he's not telling the truth. 4 tickets last time you gave me a fine on, and you went straight to a lien on my house. You are not telling the truth. That is what you said you would do if I did not pay the fine. Straight to a lien on my house. So he is a liar again, and I do not know why I'm being called back in here. This is like double jeopardy. Also, he just admitted this is out of your jurisdiction. Federal court has it. You guys already screwed up. Okay, federal court has it. This is out of your hands. So what he is doing is malicious prosecution, which is also illegal. When is this going to stop? When I have to personally sue each and every one of you, including him, for this insanity, for free speech? Seriously, did he tell you got 3 more tickets coming? They were supposed to be next month, and he pushed them off until after the state because they know he's going to get killed in state court, let alone federal court. So he is a liar. They went straight to lien last time. That's what we expected this time. And now he's making up more crap and lies for malicious prosecution, which I will file a bar complaint against your ass.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The standard process is when a code enforcement order is issued by this board, it constitutes a lien under the statute. There was no additional action taken to impose a lien on the property. It's automatically imposed by virtue of the statute and the recording of the action of the board.
Thank you. I think we've heard enough.
No, I'm asking for a motion to stay.
You don't have that right to make a motion. That's the board's responsibility.
I'm asking for a stay.
Mr. Chairman, he does have the.
Does he?
He does have the authority to request a stay.
Okay.
And if you wish, you can impose that stay retroactively. But at the moment, there is no stay before you and nothing that would prevent you from moving forward, including the fact that there may have been a filing in federal court on this case. Until that court issues an order staying any type of further action from you, or you issue an order staying any action, it's fair game.
Well, the motion's been made by the respondent to stay further action on this enforcement action. I assume, does anybody want to second that motion?
Well, he can't make a motion, he made a request.
Yeah, he's making a request, so now it's
A
up
request
to you
has
to
been made
decide.
for a motion to modify what I said. A request has been made for a motion to stay action on this enforcement action or until matters are resolved, or
This is a separate issue, is it not?
separate.
This is separate than what is presently in circuit court on appeal. And as I said, a complaint was filed in federal court. I happened to speak with the attorneys that are representing the city on that case yesterday, and they are required to file an answer to that complaint. That deadline has not yet been reached, but we'll be filing an answer in the very near future.
So it'll be a stay pending resolution of these matters before
In the federal case,
the
correct.
federal case.
Can we make a motion to apply this fine to a lien on his home? And
No, whatever decision you make regarding the fine, it automatically constitutes a lien on his property and any other personal property that he may have elsewhere in the state. That's the provision of the statute relating to the orders.
Is the matter in federal court regarding this specific violation, or is it a question with regard to the constitutionality of the code?
It's this specific violation, but the allegation is that the code upon which this violation was based is unconstitutional.
Okay, so he is challenging the specific violation in federal court?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. That motion has been submitted to the board. Is there a second?
second, Jardina?
Motion for.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
Motion for a
I thought we
stay.
made the motion about.
did somebody
stay.
make a motion for stay?
I asked if somebody, it's a motion, I can't do that. I guess
Okay,
as the motion was
motion
read,
is-
would somebody adopt it, please?
I would like to make a motion that the case is stayed pending outcome of the federal case challenging the code,
This violation.
this violation. Thank you.
Motion has been made. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
And motion has been made and second. Is there any discussion on the contents or extent of the motion?
The last time we did this, we were under the impression that by granting the stay, the respondent would no longer commit additional violations. It would seem to me we're playing a little whack-a-mole right now. There is no assurance that this respondent will not continue violations if we continue to stay.
And let me also argue, if I might, that unless or until a court of competent jurisdiction determines that the city's ordinance is unconstitutional as it relates to these violations, the city's ordinance is valid. And so the concern of continued violations is a real one, in our opinion.
But the stay doesn't negate the fines. He will continue, if the federal case upholds the ordinance, then all of these fines will apply that have been stayed.
That's true with respect to this violation. And if there's a new violation and brought before you again, we'll have to start it all over again.
I don't think Mr. Sheets would be willing or even able to not continue to violate this, so.
It's called free speech.
No, we're not talking about free speech now.
Free
No, we
speech.
aren't. We're talking
Yeah, we
about
are.
whether or not you're going to continue to come before the board. And I believe that you would continue to do this even if we
Because
asked for
it's free
a stay.
speech.
So it would be useless to put that in as a provision.
Correct.
With this individual. He wouldn't honor it, so. Any further discussion on the motion?
Only the fact that I'm opposed to a stay. I think we should proceed in accordance with the ordinance with which we are chartered to uphold.
Then I'll call a vote on the motion. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Nay.
Hey,
I guess we have a tie.
Who's nay?
I lost it, so.
For record, Dave McCarty, co-compliance supervisors, could we get a hand count so
That's
we
just what I
know
was
who
gonna
voted
ask for,
what
since
way?
I can't. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Jardina?
Aye, Higgins.
All those opposed to the motion, please signify by saying nay.
nay,
Nay.
Sacalato?
Nay, Rich.
Nay, Como.
Motion is not carried, so there will be no stay.
So now the next action is to take action with respect to the penalty imposing hearing. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Sheets, you obviously were aware of the citation that was given to you, so, and you've expressed yourself as to what you consider the value of the citation that was given to you. So I don't know if you really need to have any more of a presentation. So the issue before the board is, how do we want to resolve this violation? And,
So just for clarity, an unpaid fine by process comes back to us. If it's not paid again, what does the process do? Come back to us again?
Dave McCarty, co-compliance supervisor, been sworn. It's failure to pay the fine, it would come back again. This is just like a penalty hearing on any other case where the property owner doesn't come into compliance. This time the respondent didn't come into compliance, and that's sort of the same situation as that.
And the daily fine would continue until it's paid?
Dave McCarty, co-compliance supervisors, have been sworn. Yes, that would continue to run.
okay. Any other questions? Then we'll entertain a motion to resolve this
Motion?
case.
Motion to find that the respondent is violation of the order and order that a fine in the amount of $25 be, $1,375 be imposed, representing a fine of $25 per day for 55 days for noncompliance from March 31st, 2022 to May 24, 2022, plus applicable interest of 4.25% per annum, and said fine shall continue to run until respondent comes into compliance with the Punta Gorda Code, and is further ordered that the respondent is required to pay additional case costs incurred in the amount of $36.81.
Motion has been made to find that the respondents have violated the order, and further order that a fine in the amount of $13.75 be imposed, representing a fine of $25 per day for 55 days, plus applicable 4.25 interest, and further order to pay court costs of $36.81. Is there a second to that motion?
Second, Como.
Motion's been made and seconded to find that the respondent is in violation of the order. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to the motion?
Nay.
One nay. Motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. Sheets. Next case, hearing imposing penalty, case number 21-81221, Code Compliance Officer Nick Faulkner. Respondents Walter L. Marion and Dietrich C. Marion and Demoria Williams and Angelia Salina Marion